just last year. As a new crop of grads leaves college, the struggles of student loan debt can take center stage. And there's research that finds that the struggles aren't limited to Americans in their 20s or just younger Americans. Millions of older Americans have made costly decisions about student loans that could really impact their retirement plans. Well, joining me now to discuss what can be done to get back on track is financial advisor Anthony Williams. He's with Northwestern Mutual. Anthony, thanks so much for joining us. And I want to start with, this is a time of life in your 40s and 50s when a lot of people are really thinking about slowing down, getting out of the workforce, what that exit plan will look like. How does carrying these student loans late in life really affect those plans?
Yes, so having student loans late in life can really impact your future, your financial future, in a sense where now we have a set fixed payment that we need to be dealing with in retirement. And if you haven't done a good enough job at saving for retirement, it can really put a burden on you. Because typically when people are retired, your mortgage is typically paid off, your car is paid off, and so a lot of your fixed expenses go away. And so if we didn't do a good enough job at paying down your student loan debt, now we have that one fixed payment we have to deal with for however so many years that you have left on the balance.
Well, let's say you are one of these people, you're still carrying loans later in life, you're 45 and up. What's the best way to get out from under these loans?
So my personal opinion, I think first and foremost, we need to prioritize retirement, meaning are we on track for our retirement goal, right? Because you can borrow for school, you can borrow to buy a car, you can borrow to essentially buy a house, but you can't borrow for retirement. So I think first things first is have a solid retirement plan and figure out what's the bare minimum amount of income you can retire off of. Once we have an insight on that piece, then we look at your student loan debt and then figure out, can we be in a qualifying income-based repayment plan where we can have that debt for essentially canceled, not forgiven. And what I mean by canceled is there's certain payment plans where if you have a certain amount of years of payments, typically 25 years, that debt can be canceled. But then what will happen is whatever debt that's being canceled can be counted as income towards you. So let's say, hypothetical numbers, you have $100,000 of debt that's been forgiven. You might owe Uncle Sam roughly $24,000 to $25,000 of taxes. So now we have this tax bill that we have to essentially pay for. So now we have to come up with a plan to essentially pay that tax bill. And sometimes some Americans may not have that $25,000 or $24,000 laying around. And so we recommend if you have an idea of how many years you have left for the debt being canceled, come up with a savings plan to essentially pay down that tax bill down the line. And try your best to not touch your retirement accounts to pay for that debt, because if you touch your retirement accounts, you're subject to paying penalties and also getting taxed at the highest rate.
I want to ask, there are going to be younger people watching this who maybe have just taken out those loans. If you're in your 20s, 30s even, what's your advice to people to not be in this position in the future?
Absolutely. So I think first things first, it's create a financial plan, right? Understand what are your goals are, what are your priorities? Are we looking to buy a house? Are we looking to prioritize retirement? We're looking to, have a family, right? So think about the goals first. And then after that, when it comes to specifically the student loan payments, our suggestion, depending on your current situation, would be enroll for some type of extended repayment plan or graduated repayment plan, because this allows you to have the lowest monthly payments. However, you have the flexibility to essentially make extra payments down the line, if we wanted to. And the way I can make an example is we can either, if looking at a property, let's say we're looking at a mortgage, we can take out a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage. If you take out a 15-year mortgage, you're stuck with higher payments with less flexibility. But if you have a 30-year mortgage, you're able to have lower monthly payments, but you can choose to get that debt paid off quicker, right? And so we'd recommend coming with those type of plans that allow for lower monthly payments, where you have the option to make those extra payments rather than be forced into a high payment plan that may impact other goals that you may have down the line.
Okay, much needed advice. Anthony, thank you so much for your insight.